Happy Tuesday. Hopefully, everyone's having an awesome day. So, a friend at work asked me what gun that he should buy. Now, of course, whenever it's someone's first gun, I always go ahead and recommend. Now, this is going to be more rifles, not pistols, but when it comes to rifles, I always recommend the Ruger 1022 carbine rifle, mainly because it's pretty easy to maintain. And it's also a 22 long rifle, and 22 long rifle ammo is pretty cheap for the most part, and you get a whole lot of it really quickly. Now, of course, this takes a 25 round magazine or a 10 round magazine that comes with the rifle, down to 15 round. You have to purchase separate with the banana clip, but either way, it's a really nice gun. It shoots really well and it holds up really well. And most importantly, there is no kickback. So it's a great beginner gun. Now, this is a gun that you would be able to pretty much do small game hunting like rabbits, squirrels, and maybe all the way up to a small bobcat or a coyote. This is not something that you would go shoot a deer with, of course, but no, for a small game and puppy's protection around the house. Now, of course, this is more of a beginner gun or a lightweight gun for in case stuff hits the fan and you just need to be out and about and have some protection. Not to mention that most of the time with the 22 long rifle, it is going to be able to take down a human because of its nature. Now, of course, there are better rounds out there for self defense, but nothing quite kind of beats it for a 22 long rifle for that round for short distances because you can just empty out that clip and the other person's going to be in a lot of hurt. That's all I gotta say about that one, of course. Now, if you want something that has a little bit more oomph to it, you definitely go with the Mini 14 Ranch. Now, this is a 2.23 slash 5.56 round. This is probably going to be upwards for maybe a small deer or medium sized deer, and slightly above that, probably a small hog, and definitely for the human. I mean, a lot of people are wanting to get. I mean, I'll continue on with the other recommendation. Now, I've never shot one of these, so I don't know what the recoil is or the kickback to it is. So I don't know how that compares to it. So, like I said, it's a nice gun. It doesn't look like the AR-15, which is in the same caliber, and you can get some fancy laminated wood to go with it. But it is a nice round. It definitely has the kick and the lethality that you would probably get with another type of round. Now, of course, if you want something that the gun grabbers don't want you to have, this is definitely going to be it for you for the MP15 Sport 2. Now, this is just a very generic build, and I was only doing this just to get the image. Now, of course, this is the same caliber as the Mini Ranch rifle, same lethality, same type of games that you're going to be able to shoot with. I probably wouldn't be shooting squirrels with this or rabbits, but possibly a coyote, a small to medium sized hog. Around that area, and it's probably a small to medium sized deer. And yes, you can go hunting with an AR-15 unless your state says you can't. Now, the state says you can't. Those are for either for magazine capacities or there's not enough umph into the round that will actually take down the deer. Now, like I said, this is a really good gun. This is a gun I think this is a gun I own. The kickback or the recoil's not too terrible on it because most of it's being handled in this mechanism right here, which is the buttstock, which also has the recoil spring and the buffer. That takes a lot of the energy out of it. So I don't know how that would compare to something like this. This might have a little bit of kickback, but since I never fired this gun, I don't know. Hopefully one of these days I could own one of these. Um, Now, of course, that's going to be for your 22 caliber. When I say 22, I mean the size of the caliber. So this would be the 223 or the 5.56. Then, of course, you go back to your a little bit more a little bit more power. This is going to be your large hogs, your deer, maybe even up to a grizzly bear, but I wouldn't press your luck on this one. And this is going to be the Diamondback 308 round, which is an awesome gun. Let's see if I can see the gun I have. Don't think I see it, which is not an issue. I actually have a Diamondback. It looks kind of like this right here. Now the one I have, it has a rubber padding about an inch right there, so it actually doesn't kick that that bad. No, it does have a kick to it, and it does have recoil. But with that inch, it definitely saves your shoulder. And I just don't really see something that comes close to this. But it's an awesome gun. The only issue I have is I gotta get a spacer or a little ring. Because I think when I took it apart one time, or it just came that way, this muzzle part is actually twisting off. Literally, after I shoot 1 or 2 rounds, I could take my hand and move it and tighten it. So that's something to be a little concerning, but I haven't heard anybody else have this issue. But I think if I were just to get another kind of like a locking nut or something right there that's designed for this round or for this rifle, everything would be better. Now, of course, another reliable rifle is going to be your AK-47 rifles. Those are I think, get it in 5.56 if you want to. You could get it in a 9 millimeter. You could get the 7.6236 round, I believe. Now I don't really have an AK. I went with the AR platform, but nothing's wrong with the AK. Nothing's wrong with the AR platform. It is just a different type of technologies. One's more Americanized and one is more Russian based, which I get people don't like the Russians, but the AK is actually slightly superior when it comes to the wear and tear and the maintenance of the rifle because you can pretty much run one of these AKs through the mud for the most part, depending on which brand you get, and you'll be able to pull the trigger and it will fire. You could do brass, you could do steel casing, whereas with one of these, you're not going to be able to do steel casings. You can't do steel casings, but you're going to get better performance out of brass casings. And steel casing is going to be a little bit cheaper, of course. Like I said, this will pretty much, for the most part, wherever you feed it, it is going to fire. Like I said, I don't own one. I may or may not own one in the future. Really depends on income and availability. Like I said, I wouldn't mind having a 9 millimeter AK, but I don't know if I want to spend that much for a 9 millimeter carbine rifle. I think I'll go with a little bit more umph round to it. Let's see here if this says it. No, it doesn't really say it. But of course, nothing will beat. Now, of course, on my camera, nothing will beat a bolt action 308 or 300 blackout. Now, this is for going to be the rounds that you want to reach out and touch someone. All these are good beginner guns, in my opinion, but I would suggest your first gun to be something of the 22 long rifle caliber, so you can actually learn your fundamentals on the rifle. I mean making sure everything's cocked back, making sure that you're aiming, whether or not you want to put a optics on this or just use iron sights. All those fundamentals, and of course your safety. Safety is always first when you're thinking about this. But those are just my suggestions on what a first gun would be now. Some people will just get the 22 and go with a 308 or an AK, and they'll be perfectly fine with those two combinations because that's going to cover the most of the things that you're going to be wanting to do. Because the 8K is a good hunting rifle, it's a good self-defense rifle, and also the AR-15 or the mini ranch right here is also probably going to be an awesome one. If this is anything like the 22 long rifle, it's going to be a good quality one. But I've never fired it, so I can't really give a 100% confident in that rating. But I'm really impressed with Ruger. Hopefully, this helped you out a little bit in deciding which gun to buy when it comes to rifles. I might do a pistol one, but the pistol one, I'm not really a big pistol person. And there's go down the whole rabbit hole on there. But like I said, a friend at work asked what gun I would offer, and he's got me thinking as I was driving home what type of video I wanted to do. So I'll do a news and culture, and gun culture is really big in America, and I figured this would be the perfect video for that. With that being said, leave a comment down below on what your thoughts will be on a perfect gun or perfect beginner's gun. And also make sure you smash the like and subscribe button in any all platforms or just the platforms that you're currently watching. But most importantly, have yourself a wonderful day, morning, or evening.